The story of the world. The world is a storyteller, whispering tales through the wind, the rain, the mountains, and the oceans. For every sunrise, there's a story told in hues of gold and pink. And for every sunset, there's a quiet reflection in the shadows. The earth speaks, not with words, but with feelings. A language that transcends borders, understood by those willing to listen. In a bustling city, where the streets hum with the endless rhythm of life, a man stood on a rooftop, watching the city breathe beneath him. His name was David, and he was a writer, a collector of stories. He'd traveled the world, capturing the stories of the people he met, the places he saw, and the fleeting moments of connection he experienced. But no matter where he went, there was always something missing. He had written about love, about war, about joy and sorrow, but somehow he hadn't yet told the story of the world. One evening, as the sky turned a deep shade of violet, he sat with a blank page before him, pen in hand. He felt the weight of the world on his shoulders, the accumulated stories of millions of lives, their pain and their beauty. How could he capture it all? How could he speak for a planet so vast, so full of contradictions? The city below him was alive. Cars honked, lights flickered, voices rose and fell. And yet, in the midst of this chaos, there was a strange stillness in his heart. He closed his eyes and listened. He heard the distant rumble of thunder from a storm far away. He heard the faint whispers of a child's laughter, the soft sobs of a mother grieving, the sigh of a lover's goodbye. The world was always speaking, always moving, always alive, and in that moment, David understood that the world wasn't just one story, it was millions. Every person, every animal, every tree, every river had its own narrative. The world was an anthology, a collection of stories, each one unique, yet all interconnected. He thought of the vast savannas of Africa, where the lions roared beneath a setting sun, their voices echoing across the horizon. He thought of the quiet forests of the Amazon, where the trees whispered secrets to the wind, ancient and eternal. He thought of the crowded streets of Mumbai, where millions of lives collided every second, each person chasing their own dream, their own purpose. The world was a living tapestry, woven together by threads of human experience, nature, and the passage of time. Some threads were bright and vibrant, full of laughter and joy, while others were dark and twisted, full of sorrow and struggle. But all of them were part of the same design. All of them were necessary. David's pen moved across the page, writing furiously now, as if the stories of the world were pouring out of him, desperate to be told. He wrote of the old woman in a small village in Italy, whose hands had weathered the years like the stones in her garden. He wrote of the young girl in Japan, whose dream was to paint the stars, but who was held back by her own self-doubt. He wrote of the musician in New York, whose melodies captured the heart of the city, even though he could never quite find peace within himself. Each story was different, yet each one was a part of the whole. And that was the beauty of it. The world was not one story, but an infinite number of stories, all unfolding at once. Some were loud and colorful, like fireworks against the night sky. Others were quiet, like the rustle of leaves in a hidden forest. But all of them mattered. As David wrote, he realized that perhaps the story of the world wasn't about finding one great narrative. It was about understanding that every story, no matter how small, was worth telling. That every life, no matter how fleeting, had meaning. That the world was full of beauty, not because it was perfect, but because it was flawed. And in those flaws, there was a kind of truth. He looked out over the city once more, the lights twinkling like stars scattered across the earth. And for the first time in years, David felt at peace. He didn't need to capture the whole world in a single story.